Hi everyone, I'm Ben, and this is the Board Game Blueprint. On this week, we're going to follow up with last week's acrylic component close-up with one of board gaming's classic components, the Meeple. Now this is kind of a little unofficial because recently they've started to be produced in the acrylic type of plastic, whereas before, or originally, I think they were debuted as a wooden component. So we'll talk a little bit about how those materials can play into your design, but also look into some of the other possibilities that come with Meeples. So let's take it over to the table and take a look. So here are a number of different colored Meeples and in two different materials as we prefaced earlier in the intro. We have wood here and we have acrylic or plastic in the back there. Now, standard Meeples are about 16 millimeters in height. 16 millimeters in height, and are great for placing on boards as representational people, essentially, with the added benefits of players getting to choose which color they act as. Hopefully helps them tie into the theme a little bit more, or become more invested in the game. Now when it comes to wood versus plastic, I like to think of the two materials as warm and cold. That isn't to say that they're necessarily temperature-wise that way, but the texture and the feeling of them kind of implies that the warm wooden pieces are going to be a little bit more inviting to the touch, whereas these kind of cool plastic pieces are a little bit less. Somewhat more distant. Now that could just be my design school side talking, but that could play a little bit of a role in your game. In addition to the colors, the vibrance of these colors. So these wooden pieces are, of course, kind of the general colors that you would expect, but with these acrylic translucent pieces, you can get the light to play with them a little bit differently, and maybe this could also play into your design a little bit. I thought of maybe a Dragon Ball Z game, so that when your hero, Meeple, goes Super Saiyan, it might turn into one of these kind of glowing pieces. Or maybe they are radioactive. We even have a giant Meeple, which compared to its 16 millimeter brethren is almost twice as tall. This could be the Hulk, if you wanted to be, or something like it in your game. Now, to kind of transition a little bit more, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are also these mini Meeples, which are, let's say, about 3/4 the height. Maybe they're 12 millimeters as the regular ones. So these could be little babies or whatever else you want them to be. The Game Crafter also offers them in not just wood, translucent, or slightly opaque milky colors, but also in these plastic metallic. So this silver one is actually very reflective. You can kind of see the light glinting off of it. And again, that could be used to indicate rank, or just, you know, a Terminator created out of liquid alloy. To move on a little bit, as you've seen with these kind of two Meeples in comparison to each other, they come from two different games. Again, this is kind of the standard here on the left, and this is from a game called Meeple Circus. The reason why the arms are kind of upward is because in the game you'll actually be stacking your pieces on top of each other, kind of like a trapeze group or a circus group of strongmen, fire breathers, and so on. Really awesome stuff, and just goes to show again how the design of a component can be integrated into the rest of the game. But my personal favorite thing, I'll just slide these out of the way a little bit, for games is with truly custom Meeples. What I mean by that is something that represents even more what the players are in the world, as opposed to just a generic kind of human. In a couple of designs that I've done, I've created custom Meeples. This is a skunk that I 3D printed at my local library for a game design that I had been working on. Oops. And this is an Ankylosaurus for a dinosaur-themed game. As you can see, these are a little bit larger than the standard Meeple and quite a bit thicker, but that's just for kind of the chunkiness that I really wanted to apply to these pieces, the solid nature of them on the board, on the table. So many other games also use custom Meeples. Do Do you remember Explorers of the North Sea from the tile design discussion? Those were shaped as Vikings with their little horns on their heads. The reason why I think Meeples are so successful is because they really don't have any sort of limitation. We can have animals like we've seen in Everdell, or we can see ninjas in Ninja Camp. I don't think Meeples are going away anytime soon, and a lot of it has to do with the variety that comes with them. I hope you enjoyed watching this feature as much as I did creating it. Meeples are a component that are very close to my heart because as of right now, my most well-known design features them heavily. So I really fell in love with these little bits, and I'm hoping that you do too. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for our future upcoming content, for more discussions on components and whatever else we can about design. How would you like to use a Meeple in your design? Whether it's a standard 16mm person, humanoid, or a custom one of your own, please leave in the comments below so we can follow along with you. I'm Ben. This has been another episode of the Board Game Blueprint, and together, let's build something great.